Welcome to the post-match breakdown. If you are a fan of tactical soccer, high-stakes drama, and regional football at its absolute finest, you came to the right place. Today we are diving deep into a fascinating matchup that just wrapped up in the Football Queensland Premier League down in Australia. It is a league that true soccer purists love to follow because it is fast, it is physical, and the tactical setups are incredibly sophisticated. We are talking about the big clash between North Star FC and the Brisbane Strikers. Going into the Going into this game, the storylines were already writing themselves. You had two teams on completely opposite ends of the emotional and mathematical spectrum in the standings. On one side, the Brisbane Strikers came into the match flying high, sitting comfortably in the second place, chasing that top spot, and looking every bit like a championship contender. On the other side, you had North Star FC hosting the match at home, desperately fighting for survival down in 10th place, trying to put some distance between themselves and the bottom of the table. If you are expecting cagey, defensive, boring affair, this match completely shattered those expectations. The Brisbane Strikers walked away with a crucial 3-1 victory on enemy territory. It was a masterclass in modern tactical pressing, structural discipline, and capitalizing on transition movements. But the scoreline doesn't tell the whole story. North Star put up a massive fight, especially in the second half, making this a highly educational game for anyone who loves to analyze the tactical side of soccer. Let us break down exactly how this game was won and lost, look at the tactical choices that defined both halves, and talk about what this result means for both franchises moving forward. To understand why this game played out the way it did, we have to look at the psychological and tactical landscape before the referee blew the opening whistle. The Strikers knew they could not afford to drop points when you are chasing a league title and trying to lock down promotion. Away games against lower ranked teams are classic trap matches. It is very easy to roll into a stadium like North Stars, assume you are the better team, play down to your opponent, and get caught on counter attack. North Star, on the other hand, had nothing to lose and everything to gain. Playing at home, their main objective was to disrupt the rhythm of the Strikers. In their previous meetings, North Star tried to play an open, expansive style and it cost them dearly. Their head coach made it clear in the pre-match press conference that structural integrity was going to be the theme of the day. They wanted to compress the space in the midfield, force the strikers wide, and use direct vertical passes to catch the strikers' high defensive line sleeping. When the match kicked off, it became immediately clear that the Brisbane Strikers had no intention of letting North Star settle into a comfortable defensive rhythm. The Strikers set up in an aggressive 4-3-3 formation that looked more like a 3-4-3 when they pushed forward. They deployed a fierce high press right from the first minute. In modern soccer, a high press is not just about running fast at the guy with the ball. It is about cutting off passing lanes, trapping players in against the sidelines, and forcing hurried decisions. The Strikers did this perfectly every time a North Star center back received the ball. The Strikers' front three closed the gap instantly. They didn't just pressure the ball; they completely shadow blocked the central midfielders, forcing the North Star to go long or make high risk passes across their own penalty box. This pressure paid off incredibly early within the opening 20 minutes. North Star looked visually rattled. They were struggling to string more than three passes together in their own half. The strikers were winning the ball back in incredibly advanced position on the field. Instead of having to build an attack from 60 yards out, the strikers were starting their attacks 30 yards from the North Star goal. The breakthrough came just few minutes later and it was a direct result of this tactical pressure. North Star tried to build out from the back through a short goal kick. The strikers jumped the trigger the moment the ball moved toward the left fullback. The strikers' right winger pinched inward, cut off the line, and trapped the defender. A hurried pass back to the goalkeeper went wide. The strikers intercepted, and with two quick, precise passes into the box, they slotted the ball into the back of the net. 1-0 to the visitors. What makes the strikers so dangerous when they get a lead is their ability to change the gears. They didn't sit back after the first goal. They recognized that North Star was hurting and they smelled blood in the water. For the next 15 minutes, it was a total domination. The strikers' midfield trio controlled the tempo of the game completely. They utilized a beautiful combination of short, crisp passes to draw the North Star midfielders out of position, followed by sudden overlapping runs from their fullbacks to exploit the wide spaces. North Star's tactical dilemma in the first half was that their lines were too far apart. When their defenders had the ball, their forwards were pushed up high, expecting a long clearance. This left a massive empty ocean of space in the center of the field. The strikers' midfielders basically owned that speed. They picked up every second ball, every clearance, and every loose pass. Right before the half-time whistle, the strikers struck again and again to make it 2-0. This goal was a clinic in wing play. The strikers shifted the ball rapidly from the left flank to the right flank, overloading North Star's defensive block. The right full back got down to the baseline, delivered a beautiful driven cross along the 6-yard box, and their oncoming central midfielder timed his run perfectly to smash it home. Heading into the locker room at the halftime, down 2-0, North Star FC looked down and out. Their home crowd was quiet. Their players looked exhausted from chasing ghosts in the midfield, and the strikers looked entirely in control. If you are a coach in that situation, you have to make a choice. You can either stay conservative or to avoid a 5-0 blowout, or you can adjust your tactics, roll the dice, or try to get back into the football match. North Star's coaching staff chose to fight. When the teams came out of the second half, you could see an immediate structural shift from the home side. They abandoned their passive mid block, mirrored the strikers' aggression. They brought on an extra energetic midfielder, shifted to a more compact 4-4-2 diamond, and decided to match the strikers man for man in the center of pitch. This tactical adjustment completely changed the texture of the game. Suddenly, strikers didn't have all the day to pass the ball around in the midfield. North Star was flying into tackles, winning individual battles, and lifting the energy of the stadium. They stopped trying to play short passes in dangerous areas and started using their physical forward to hold up the ball in strikers' half. The tactical gamble paid off around the hour mark. North Star won a corner kick through a sheer determination. The delivery was excellent, swirling right into the heart of the penalty area. The strikers' defense, which had been flawless up to this point, had a momentary lapse in communication. They failed to clear the first ball. It bounced around the box and North Star reacted fastest, turning it over the line. Just like that, it was 2-1. The entire energy of the stadium shifted. Soccer is a sport heavily driven by momentum. And for a 10-minute window after that goal, North Star looked like they might actually pull off a miraculous comeback. They were winning the 50-50 balls, their wingers were pushing forward with confidence, and the strikers were suddenly the ones looking hurried and uncomfortable. This is exact moment where the pedigree of a championship caliber team shows. A lesser team might have panicked under that pressure, dropped their defensive line deep into their own box, and invited a wave of attacks. But the Brisbane Strikers showed exactly why they are sitting in the second place in the league. Their manager made a couple of brilliant tactical substitutions to stabilize the ship. He pulled off an attacking winger and brought on a robust defensive-minded central midfielder to reclaim control of the center circle. They shifted from a pressing style to a possession-oriented style instead of looking for a quick third goal. They decided to start not stall of the ball for about 5 to 6 minutes. The strikers just knocked the ball around, backward, sideways, short passes across the back line. They completely deflated the game's tempo. It was frustrating for North Star because they were chasing the ball, burning through the whatever energy reserves they had left after their big emotional push. Once striker re-established their rhythm and calmed the crowd down, they waited for North Star to make a mistake. When you are down 2-1 late in a game, you have to commit bodies forward. North Star had to push their fullbacks higher up the field to look for an equalizer, which naturally left their two centre backs completely isolated against the strikers' fast forward. The killing blow came in the final 10 minutes of the game. North Star turned the ball over deep in the strikers' attacking third. The strikers executed a textbook counter-attack with only three passes. They travelled 80 yards up the field. Their central midfielder picked up the ball, drove forward into space, and slipped a perfectly weighted through ball between the North Star's centre backs. The strikers' centre forward beat the offside trap and went one-on-one with the goalkeeper, kept his composure, and coolly slotted it into the bottom corner. 3-1 game, set and match. That third goal completely took the wind out of North Star's sails. It was a heartbreaking moment for the home team because they had worked so hard to get back into the contest. But it was a clinical reminder of how unforgiving soccer can be at this level when you leave yourself exposed at the back. When we take a step back and analyze this match as a whole, there are a few massive tactical takeaways that really highlight the difference between these two clubs right now. First, let us look at the Brisbane Strikers. Their performance was brilliant, example of modern flexible soccer. They completely dominated the first half with an aggressive, suffocating high press that broke North Star's build-up play. Then, when the game got chaotic and messy in the second half, they showed the maturity to slow things down, manage the clock, use possession as a defensive tool, and strike with lethal precision on the counter-attack. Their technical quality on the ball, combined with their tactical discipline, makes them an incredibly tough matchup for anyone in the league. They don't just have a plan A, they have a plan B and a plan C that they can execute smoothly mid-game. For North Star FC, this match is a tough pill to swallow, but there are definitely some massive positives they can build on. The first half performance was unacceptable. They were too timid, structurally disjointed, and gave the strikers far too much respect. However, their second half adjustment showed great character. The tactical switch to a more compact, aggressive midfield diamond proved that they have the talent to go toe to toe with the best teams in the competition when they play with belief and intensity. Their biggest issue right now is consistency and concentration. You cannot afford to give away cheap goals against top-tier opponents, and you certainly cannot afford to lose your focus for even 5 minutes. Or teams like Strikers will punish you instantly. Let us talk about what this means for the big picture as we look at the league standings. For the Brisbane Strikers, these 3 points are absolutely massive. Winning away from home is never easy, regardless of where your opponent sits on the table. With this 3-1 victory, they keep the pressure firmly on the league leaders. They are proving that they have the consistency, the roster depth, and the tactical intelligence required to sustain a genuine title charge. If they keep playing with this level of confidence and defensive solidity, it is going to be a thrilling race to finish line at the top of the table. For North Star FC, the situation is becoming increasingly urgent. Sitting down in the 10th place, they are in a real dogfight. The performance in the second half proves they do not belong at the bottom. But football is a results business, and moral victories do not put points on the board. They need to figure out how to replicate that second half energy and tactical compactness right from the opening whistle in their upcoming matches. Their survival in the division depends entirely on their ability to clean up the defensive mistakes and find a way to support their forwards without completely exposing their backline to counter-attacks. It was an incredible night of soccer full of tactical chess matches, emotional shifts, and beautiful goals. The Brisbane Strikers walked away as deserved winners, showing why they are one of the elite teams in the competition, while North Star FC is left with plenty of homework to do as they prepare for rest of grueling campaign. Thank you so much for joining this deep dive analysis. If you love breaking down the game from technical perspective just as much as we do, make sure to stick around. We will be tracking both of these teams closely as the season progresses to see if the Strikers can capture that elusive top spot.